President Muhammadu Buhari has blamed his administration's huge borrowing and poor performance on the Russia-Ukraine war, coronavirus pandemic, and global financial crisis. He also blamed insurgency as part of the problems that hampered his administration's poor performance. So he has already agreed that, so he knows that his administration performed poorly. But the other day was making math. I think there's a documentary shown by Femi Adesina, all that Buhari did in these 8 years. So why is he accepting that his administration performed poorly? And now he's blaming it on a Russia-Ukraine war, coronavirus, and global financial crisis. That is the reason why he has been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. But all these problems were there. There were a lot of problems. For somebody who is smart, should be able to know how to drive things around. But he was just only listening to people that he said is comfortable to work with, and those ones were busy stealing, borrowing. The other day, Ali Ndume came out and said he's going to take them to court because this last minute borrowing, that they are just using grammar. They are using grammar to confuse Buhari, and before you know it, he will just sign that the people are there using it to steal. I said, and when people will come out and be making excuses for him that oh, it is people around him, it is what they tell him, I would like what they tell him. People always ask the question, does it mean he does not read paper? He doesn't know what is happening around him. These were the same people who were like ordinary people before they went into government. So they don't know how things work. You know, that I just believe that is his kind of person. He does not know, he doesn't know much. He said that is something is wrong with him upstairs, or maybe it's dementia, or I don't just understand, or he's not just intelligent as a person. Because you cannot be a leader. They will not say, oh, people are the ones telling you. If you are serious about governance and you know exactly what you are doing, and that was why they said, oh, Obasanjo was stubborn, then it is what he wants to do, you do. If you like, advise him, because he will go behind and find out some things by himself, because they are supposed to know that a lot of psycho fans are with them. Is he the one that he travels anyhow? Most of the time you say, oh, they are going for one program, and those times they always pay them. This man, when you look at him, and I've asked people, if they ask you to, if Buhari should be your, if you have a company, can you make Buhari your manager? They will say no. But why is it that the number one seat, at the highest seat in this country, is where they have pushed him, and those who are gaining? And that's why in 2019, all of them were like, oh, it has to be Buhari, because they knew quite well that he didn't even know what he was doing. Now he's coming to tell us that coronavirus and Ukraine, Russia war affected his performance. And he disclosed this while inaugurating the Dangote refinery and petrochemicals plant in Lagos State. So he wanted to use that to justify the reason why they could not build refineries they promised Nigeria, because he will come and tell you that he was not the one that made that promise, that people were just making promise on his behalf. I'm sure he's ashamed of himself that an individual, that one is even another story, but from face value, an individual could be in a refinery, and a whole government could not even repair one of the 4 refineries that we have. When I hear that, oh, the government, nobody can fight government is so this, I say, go ahead, go and sit down. All this pick and choose things that they go with. Well, during the inauguration of the Dangote refinery and petrochemicals plant in Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria, expressed hope that the facility, with the capacity to process 650,000 barrels per litre of crude, would enable the country to achieve self-sufficiency in the refined products and export surplus to the global market. He said our economy, which is being stressed for many decades by huge deficits in economic infrastructure and over a decade of insurgency, has also been impacted by several external crises, including the global financial crisis, the collapse of the oil prices, COVID-19, and Russia-Ukraine war. The consequences of these challenges constitute a severe strain in our economic, limiting the government's ability to provide basic infrastructure without resulting in huge borrowings. Our government therefore took the decision to focus on creating an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and fill the enormous gap in investment not only in infrastructure but also in all critical sectors. Buhari, however, noted his administration recognized that without active participation of the private sector and strong commitments to public-private partnership, the country's economy will continue to nosedive and impede economic growth. He noted that the government should continue to provide an enabling environment and encourage innovative public-private partnership in all sectors of our economy. Our administration has demonstrated its commitment to this in many areas, such as Executive Orders 007 of 2019, which facilitated that, while commending the chairman of Dangote Group of Industry, Aliko Dangote, for always putting the country on the map through his bold, visionary, and courageous investments in key industries. Buhari noted that the completion of the refinery was a notable milestone on our economy and a game changer for the downstream petroleum products market, not only for Nigeria but to entire African continent. He, however, advocated the unity of Africa in order to achieve the goal of Agenda 2063, adding that we must integrate our economies, eliminate various threats, and energize our youthful population to scale up our protective capacity. We must create necessary conditions for our private sector to grow and partner with the public sector to accelerate economic growth across the continent. We must not allow outside powers to choose some of our leaders to destabilize our economy and our political trajectory. Meanwhile, the occasion was graced by four African presidents: Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, Niger Republic's Mohamed Bazoum, Togo's Faure Gnassingbé, and Senegal's Macky Sall, while the Chadian president was represented. Now, don't hear wetin this man, Opatawe, this man, the yarn. Let's take some reactions from people. Not Jonathan again, but Lai Mohammed and Adesina asserted that your government is the best since 1960. The Mr. President, you can't even give what you don't have. That is just the bitter truth, and don't blame anybody for the failure. Buhari started with blame and ended with blame. Blame game was his master's key. Thank God we made it alive after the Hurricane Buhari destroyed Nigeria. A failure will always have an excuse. Buhari failed. I blame those calling the man a president. He is not qualified to be a councillor in a democratic government. Of course, that's how even me. I'm just calling him Buhari. This one a president. What will they not blame? Even the killings going on every day can also be blamed on what? The man is a colossal failure. So guys, let's hear your opinion and have your take on this.